Russian president met with President of the World Development Bank, Dilma Rousseff, as world leaders continue to arrive for BRICS summit. In Cuba, President Miguel Díaz-Canel announced that the death toll rose to 7 after the passage of Tropical Storm Oscar through the east of the island. The Lebanese resistance movement Hezbollah launched a rocket strike on an Israeli military security base in the suburbs of the city of Tel Aviv. Hello and welcome to From the South. I'm Alejandra Garcia from TeleSUR Studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. The President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, highlighted the funding provided by the new development bank to about 100 projects since 2018. When briefing the meeting held with the President of the new development bank, Dilma Rousseff, within the framework of the BRICS summit in Kazan, the Russian head of state praised the close of $33 billion the entity has invested on projects. The reunion addressed the financial institution's approach and its benefits for the group and its geostrategic interests. The Russian leader also pointed out that the new BRICS Development Bank has been a great alternative against Western financial methods, as the increase in local currency transactions has succeeded in reducing debt, servicing fees, thus increasing the financial independence of the BRICS countries. Likewise, the Russian President Vladimir Putin held a meeting on Tuesday with the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, where he asserted that Moscow values the interaction with New Delhi within the framework of BRICS, noting that the summit further seeks to expand and strengthen cooperation between its member countries. At the encounter, Putin highlighted the good state of cooperation and trade between his state and India. For his part, Modi welcomed the deepening of ties between the two countries and expressed his commitment to a peaceful and diplomatic resolution of the conflict with Ukraine. In this context, let's have a contact with our special envoy, Juno Sooner, who has all the details of this first day of the 16th summit of the BRICS being held in the Russian city of Kazan.
Hello from the Russian city of Kazan, where the 16th summit of the BRICS alliance has kicked off today with the arrival of alliance members, presidents and prime ministers, as well as others. 36 countries are joining this summit, 22 of them as at the level of head of government or head of state, and its first successes are already there. Ahead of the summit, China and India agreed to lower the tensions at their Himalaya borders, tensions that were heating up since 4 years, and they have come to an agreement, an important point, because their tensions have always been presented by Western sources as a reason, a main reason, why the BRICS alliance would not work in the long run, because these two giants would not come to terms with each other. They did so, and they did also confirm that their presidents, the Chinese President Xi Jinping and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, will have a bilateral meeting here on the summit, thus displaying lowering tensions and progressing and deepening relations between the two countries, the two Asian giants. Another success already visible with the huge participation. As you remember, the West has tried to isolate Russia diplomatically and internationally. Now today, the Russian President Vladimir Putin has held bilateral meetings with the Indian Prime Minister, with the Chinese President, with the President of the South African Republic, the Arab Republic of Egypt, and all these bilateral meetings were accompanied by very warm comments. For instance, the Indian Prime Minister said after the meeting that it was, I quote, a wonderful one. He said on social media. The South African president called Russia a valuable ally. And of course, the Chinese president reiterated again the strategic nature of the cooperation between China and Russia. Another important point already also achieved by this summit is the participation of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, who has arrived 2 days ago in Moscow to meet Vladimir Putin and who was invited to join the summit. This is important because his ambassador, the Palestinian ambassador in Russia, had already back in the summer announced in an interview that his country would apply for BRICS membership. Now, that's very important because Palestine, as you all know, is not a taken care country in the UN context, but it will seek refuge, it will seek support within the BRICS context. Speaking of the UN, another victory for the BRICS camp is the participation of UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres in the conference, the first travel of Guterres since 2022 to Russia since the beginning of the Ukraine conflict. Thus, Guterres was harshly criticized by the Ukrainian presidency for his travel to Kazan, to Russia, but he did insist on it. This is another major step, as well as the Western press recognizes that its attempts to isolate Russia have failed, and this has been on display on this summit already long before we came to the resolution that will be worked upon and decided upon during the summit in the next 2 days.
In this context, the president of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, arrived on Tuesday in the city of Kazan to attend the BRICS summit, where he seeks to broaden participation with a view to the world economic development. Upon his arrival, the president stressed that Venezuela participates in the international activity as part of the immense effort of its leaders for the construction of a new multipolar order. Nicolás Maduro made references to Venezuela's perspective in contributing to the new global era. Moreover, the head of state underlined that this is the first time that Venezuela attends as a guest to a BRICS summit, and added that it is part of the energetic gear of the new pluricentric world that is being born.
Estamos llegando a esta cumbre histórica. Primera vez que un presidente de Venezuela asiste.
We're arriving at this historic summit. It is the very first time that a president of Venezuela has been invited to attend a BRICS summit of heads of state. It is already a historic event that a Venezuelan president attends a summit. We have already participated at the ministerial level, like foreign ministers, ministers of economy, ministers of communication, of culture. We are now already part of this machinery, of this design of the multicentric and pluripolar world.
The Venezuelan president highlighted the possibility that the countries with the largest oil reserves in the world join a great economic development project.
We always thought about the possibility of being part of the great economic development project, a project of cooperation, the countries that have the largest oil reserves in the world. That is to say, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Venezuela. And in this space, that is the epicenter of the new world, we have already met. We are the 4 great oil-producing countries of the world, and Venezuela comes to humbly offer its contribution on the basis of economic autonomy, of domestic development, an economic project that requires a high level of investment.
In Russia, TV BRICS and the Ministry of Communication of Venezuela signed a memorandum of understanding within the framework of the BRICS summit, which is being held in Kazan. The Minister of Communication and Information, Freddy Ñañez, was the representative of Venezuela for the signing of this document, in which the importance of this union of information platforms was emphasized. Ñañez confirmed that this alliance between BRICS media platforms and the Venezuelan state television will bring greater cultural and informative diversity, and is also an opportunity to analyze and inform about the reality of the peoples of the Global South. In 2023, the multi-state broadcaster TeleSUR signed a cooperation agreement with the international media network of the BRICS countries that allows it to continue working on the expansion of its network of associated media in Latin America.
We, the countries of the South, as Mario Benedetti said, not only exist, but we also have much to contribute to a new world order, to a new globality, as President Chavez and President Nicolás Maduro have stated, wherever there is an expression of multiculturalism, an expression of difference, of harmony, among the alternatives that exist in the field of politics, economy and culture in the world, a multipolar world, a world that we have been building not only in every international forum, but in practice.
Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates and more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. In Cuba, President Miguel Díaz-Canel announced that the death toll rose to 7 after the passage of Tropical Storm Oscar through the east of the island. During an extraordinary meeting of the National Defense Council to address the emergency situation, the president informed that the 7th victim was reported in Imias municipality in the most eastern province of the country, Guantánamo. Likewise, the head of state referred to the recovery of the national electricity system, which is restored in over 70% of the country with the possibility of continuing to advance. Díaz-Canel assured instructions are given to prioritize actions to reverse the effects of the hurricane. The Venezuelan government revealed a corruption scheme involving officials of the mayor's office of the northwestern city of Maracaibo with destabilizing plans from the far right. Venezuelan Minister of Interior, Justice and Peace, Diosdado Cabello, presented evidences against the former mayor of Maracaibo, Rafael Ramirez, about his involvement in the corruption scheme and announced that the investigations are still underway. He also informed the beginning of the corresponding legal procedures leading to the indictment and later trials of those involved. Cabello explained that Ramirez belonged to the opposition Justice First Party and had to pay employees outside the payroll of the mayor's office through public cleaning companies.
Ahora, usted va a Maracaibo.
Now you can go to Maracaibo and you can see the mess the Maracaibo streets are in, because nobody picks up the garbage except Corpo Zulia and also the national government. However, the mayor's office in Maracaibo had completely disengaged from this responsibility. The people of the state of Zulia are beginning to file these complaints with the security agencies. And the mayor of Maracaibo is involved in this plot. He has already been arrested. He is under arrest. There is also Mr. Juan Lara Villalobos, who is the president of the Municipal Institute of Urban and Domiciliary Cleaning, or IMAU, and also Mr. Dave Henry Villalobos Ortega. This individual, Alberto Silva, had contradictory responsibilities in the mayor's office. But what is clear is that he had a great decision-making power to manage resources. Some call him a manager.
Cabello also added that several other officials in the mayor's office in Maracaibo were involved in the corruption scheme.
I must clarify that this is just a first release of information. There are a number of other officials of the mayor's office, aldermen of the municipality, who are part of this corrupt mafia, who are part of this investigation. Other people have been detained and have also been brought before the courts. But we considered it was necessary and important to inform the nation, and especially the state of Zulia and the municipality of Maracaibo, because people have tried to manipulate these events.
In the United States, at least 5 people were killed on Monday in a shooting inside a home in the state of Washington. In the aftermath, authorities reported that a 15-year-old has been arrested in connection to the murders that involved a family of 7 people, which he was allegedly a member of. In the incident that occurred in the community of Fall City, some 20 kilometers southeast of Seattle, 2 adults and 3 minors were shot to death and a teenager was wounded. The police rushed to the place after receiving a phone call about gunshots in the residence. According to the independent organization Gun Violence Archive, the shooting became the nation's 25th mass murder of 2024 and adds to the total of 427 mass shootings occurred in the U.S. in the current year. We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at TeleSUR English, there you'll be able to rewatch our interviews, top stories, special broadcastings and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. The Lebanese resistance movement Hezbollah launched a rocket strike on an Israeli military security base in the suburbs of the city of Tel Aviv. Hezbollah confirmed that the strike is part of Operation Khaybar, launched as a response to Israeli criminal operations against the Palestinian and Lebanese peoples. The base attacked by the Islamic resistance hosts the military intelligence of the Army Unit 8200, considered one of the key institutions of the Zionist anti-espionage. No report on the consequences of the operation has been provided by the occupying forces. The Syrian Ministry of Health reported that more than 35,000 medical services were provided to displaced people from Lebanon. Precisely, the agency informed that the number of medical assistances given in the rural areas of Damascus, Tartus, Homs governorates amounted to 28,000, while more than 26,000 services were provided in shelters and hospitalization centers. The authorities explained the services include general medical consultations, emergency operations, mental health sessions, and necessary vaccinations. The Israeli attacks have caused more than 1.2 million people to leave their homes in Lebanon. 13 Lebanese, including one child, were killed on Tuesday in an Israeli strike near the south of Beirut hospital. The information was provided by the Lebanese Minister of Health, who also informed there had been 57 wounded in another strike late Monday near the Rafik Hariri Hospital, the biggest public health facility in the nation. Search and rescue teams were reportedly still searching for survivors amid fears that the toll may rise further. Health facilities in Lebanon have come into focus after Israel accused Hezbollah on Monday of storing money in a bunker under the Sahel hospital in Beirut's southern suburbs, a charge the facilities had denied. Nearly 1,500 people have been killed in Lebanon after a month of Israeli attacks on the Arab nation.
Yesterday we were subjected to aggression. We do not know if we were the targets or not, as there are no red lines regarding Israeli aggression. There was an airstrike with 2 rockets on the street adjacent to the hospital. The rockets seemed to be of very large caliber and were most likely launched from warships rather than aircraft, given the extent of the severe damage. 3 neighboring buildings have been leveled to the ground, and some residents are still under the rubble until now.
In Bangladesh, crowds of female students marched in Dhaka with burning torches late Tuesday, demanding the government to put a halt to the drastic increase in violence against women. Shouting freedom, women marched through Dhaka's university campus, demanding equality and calling for an end to harassment and gender-based violence. After the new government took office, expectations of an improvement in the situation of women went up. However, no change was achieved. On the contrary, violence against women has increased nationwide. Women's rights organizations Bangladesh Mahila Parishad reported that cases of violence against women have increased in the country by more than a quarter in September compared to previous months.
We wanted to build a new Bangladesh through an uprising where we want to ensure equal rights of men and women. We also want to remove the discrimination that exists in the society regarding the treatment of men and women.
The way we felt safe while coming out of the dormitories during the uprising, we want that the post-revolution Bangladesh will be a such country where violence and rapes of women will decrease. But now, when we see that violence and repression against women, along with the incidents of rapes, increased.
A fuel truck lost control and exploded into flames near the Ugandan capital on Tuesday, killing at least 10 people. The disaster occurred on a highway in the town of Kigogawa, about 25 kilometers north of Kampala. The resident district commissioner for the area, Charles Lewanda, said that investigations are underway, adding that rescue and emergencies are on the scene. Several people were reportedly injured during the explosion as ambulances rushed to the scene in Kigogwa to take people to the hospital, adding that firefighters had prevented the flames from reaching a nearby patrol station. The disaster occurred just days after a fuel tanker exploded in northern Nigeria on October 15th, killing more than 170 people.
I cannot ascertain the numbers of the injured, but for the death toll here at the scene, the ones who have recovered are 10. We have recovered 10 so far, but we're still work in progress. We're still at the scene, we're still ascertaining and checking out other areas where the fuel was flowing to. So it is a work in progress. We shall give you a proper report after today.
We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net and join us on social media. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram and TikTok as well. For TeleSUR English, I'm Alejandra Garcia. Thank you for watching.